I just came back from the Breaking Convention 2023 in Exeter in the UK, and I'm excited to share my experience with all of you guys. Hey, I'm Vego and this is Psychedelic Actualization. On this channel we talk about topics like self-realization, self-actualization and working with psychedelics to live a more authentic and fulfilling life. So if you're interested in any of these topics, subscribe to the channel and check out my work. So yeah, Breaking Convention, my second psychedelic conference experience ever. Breaking Convention is a biennial multidisciplinary conference on psychedelic consciousness featuring more than 200 presenters from around the world. We've been around 1,000 or more participants and it has been an exciting experience. A very amazing and yeah, just awe-inspiring experience for myself. So last year I went to ICPR 2022 in Amsterdam, another psychedelic conference, and I shared my experience. You can watch it right here. And it was more focused on the science. It felt a little bit like, it was an amazing experience, but it felt more serious and a little bit more cold. And I was expecting the same thing for Breaking Convention. But Breaking Convention surprised me in a way that the convention itself was kind of a consciousness expanding experience. By the way, let me tell you the story how it came to be, how I ended up at Breaking Convention. It's kind of a funny story. So me and a friend of mine booked tickets for the World Bufo Alvarius Congress in Barcelona in April around this year. And we bought the tickets, I even bought the flight and booked the hostel and everything. And like a week before the Congress, we got an email, at least I got an email, my friend didn't even receive it, that the Congress is cancelled because of the venue and sorry about that, we're gonna refund your money in the next 2 weeks. So it's been like 3 months and I have received no money back and the website of WBAC, World Bufo Alvarius Congress, is gone. And it's this whole weird situation. So if you know anybody who is in contact with organizers of that conference, or if you know if it was a scam or something like that, please let me know in the comments, contact me. It's a weird situation, all my money's gone and the conference was not happening. But I was like, I'm gonna go to one congress at least this year, and I chose Breaking Convention. So me and my friend and another beautiful human being I met at ICPR, we went there and had this experience together. And yeah, the whole conference was like a consciousness expanding experience. It was more like, it was very diverse, you know? It was multicultural, a lot of diversity, a lot of different people. There were people in the field of psychology, in the field of neuroscience, of like this whole sciencey stuff. But also there were speakers from the hood, black people, people from different cultures, talking about their experiences and their perspectives on the Western narrative of the psychedelic renaissance, of the psychedelic movement that is happening at the moment. And it was amazing to see all those different perspectives coming together and having a great time. It really felt like people were just having a great time sharing this presence and sharing this psychedelic passion together in this place. There were a lot of people like myself, like with their hippie clothing, a lot of kind of this kind of more loose hippie style movement, but also some more serious sciencey people. And it's like this whole diversity was really fulfilling and everybody was just so kind and so open and so loving and so, yeah, just so easy to connect with, which was really, really beautiful. So if it's somebody like myself who's just coming from a point of self-exploration and curiosity, or if it's somebody who's doing top leading research or has done over 1,000 underground ceremonies, it's like all those people come together and you have the opportunity to speak with them. And I think this is the greatest value of these events, at least for myself. Even though the talks are great and all the information you get and the input you get is great, I think the most value in those places is the networking. You get to meet a lot of different people, a lot of really interesting people that you know you have a shared passion with. So for example, I met Rob from the channel Adeptus Psychonautica. We're going to invite him on the channel very soon and talk about breaking convention, talk about ayahuasca retreats and spirituality. And yeah, you just get to talk to all these kind of people. I mean, not always. Some of the big names have like a lot to do and mobs around them of people wanting to talk to them. But I met some really interesting people. And for example, Amanda Fiedling, right? She's like this founder of the Berkeley Foundation, doing a lot of great stuff in the world, and she's just sitting there at the marketplace at her stand, and I could just come up to her and ask her questions about God and self-realization and LSD, and like receiving those answers from people who are also far ahead on the path of this exploration was really, really valuable. I don't want to talk too much in this video. I want to keep it kind of concise and short, but I want to share some highlights that I experienced with you guys. So just the stuff I enjoyed most. So I enjoyed most the DMT panel. The DMT panel was very interesting, amazing. Christopher Timmerman is doing, I think, the most important, or at least for myself, the most interesting research on DMT extended states, extending the DMT experience up to 30 minutes. He was talking about the neuroscience behind it and like the phenomenology of the DMT experience, that they focus more on the phenomenology of the experience. They take the trip reports more serious, and it's like this deconstruction of reality and a construction of a whole new reality in the DMT state, in contrary to 5-MeO DMT, which is just an absolute collapse of all of reality into nothingness. And he defined this nothingness as infinite potential, and it's like all these different kinds of stuff. Very interesting talk. I love his work and his presentations. Absolutely amazing. Jonathan Ott. I haven't read any books from him, but now I'm definitely going to, because his talks were really interesting about DMT snuffs and also about the roots, the etymology of the word psychedelic and its history and how we should call it, just like these kinds of discussions, and a lot of history and a lot of knowledge in this man. Amazing guy, amazing talks. There was a woman from Taiwan talking about ayahuasca, about an acacia that grows in Southeast Asia, which has a different quality than the ayahuasca in Peru, and like the differences of that and how we can cultivate that and integrate it into our own path. So all of just like great stuff about DMT all day long. That was amazing. There was a live cinema experience from Vincent Moon. Vincent Moon, I connected with him a day later. Amazing guy, absolutely beautiful human being, just very, very chill, very humbling, just an amazing human being. And I wanted to check out his work earlier, but I didn't. And now I got to experience his work and his live performance and presentation, and it was a whole journey. He's kind of traveling around the world, filming different rituals and ceremonies, psychedelic and non-psychedelic, from all around the world, and he's just filming it and like presenting the raw experience of that, of how it actually is, and it really transported me a little bit into the experience of what was actually happening in the ritual. It was very impressive, sometimes even disturbing, and it like really did something to me. I could really feel myself going through this journey of watching all those impressions from these very intense ceremonies from different cultures. Just absolutely amazing. I highly recommend you check out his work. I'm going to talk about it more in future videos. New AI technology, a lot about AI. It's this huge hype at the moment about AI and what it's doing to humanity, and very interesting talk about AI technology and how it can, first of all, help us in our psychedelic work. For example, technology that is AI technology that is able to actually manifest images based on brain activity. So they did research where they showed images to people, and then the AI generated this image that was shown based on brain activity, and it was kind of quite accurate, as you can see here. And like transferring that technology into dreams and maybe into the psychedelic experience of actually bringing images that we experience in those states into our physical world. Very interesting stuff. AI and the concerns, how we deal with that kind of experience of interacting with AI. So there was one guy, he did talk about talking about like that we can handle AI like we handle DMT entities. Like there's a big discussion, are they real, the DMT entities? Is AI conscious? It's like shifting the focus from that kind of question to the question of how do we deal with them? How do we deal with that experience? Because it feels real, the interaction feels real, and how what traits can we cultivate to actually manage this new technology, as DMT is maybe a technology, AI is a new technology. Carl H. Smith, amazing professor, I don't know what he's doing, but just like those ideas, you get a lot of input and ideas, and even though some of the talks were not that great, some of the talks had like these golden nuggets of ideas. For example, he talked about how to integrate those states of consciousness in, for example, DMT or 5-MeO-DMT. And he used, for example, in his 5-MeO-DMT sessions, singing bowls. So he would repeatedly have the sound of the singing bowl in his 5-MeO-DMT experiences. And then because sound and smell are very, they're deep rooted in our memory, now he can maybe access that God state of consciousness in meditation without the 5-MeO-DMT, using the same sound of the singing bowl. Just like those golden nuggets of ideas. It's like, oh, I've heard of that before, but I should actually try that and then practice it and actually try it out and live it. So that was amazing. Another highlight, William Leonard Pickard. I don't know if you know him, but he it's said that he contributed like 90% of the LSD to the whole world or whatever. And he was in prison for 20 years. And he gave a talk talking about his experience in prison, what it did to him, and his lessons that he learned. And it was really sad. It was really, I'm like getting emotional just thinking about it. He spent 20 years in prison. And he was talking about like he knew he did the right thing, and was in prison for that, and like everything got stripped away from him, and all that he could hold on to was basically the love of God, right? The love that he experienced, and this knowing deep inside that he actually did the right thing, and it's just incredible. At the end, he was asked like, what main advice, what main lesson did you get out of that experience, or what do you appreciate most now? And he said, now at the moment, my main message is like, be grateful, be appreciative. I just love going outside and seeing kids play, playing with animals or dogs, because I haven't experienced that for over 20 years. Seeing the flowers blossom and smelling them and letting the sunshine, just experiencing the sunshine on my face. And it's like that is so important, that we don't lose this appreciation. And he lived through that experience, and it was an incredible experience listening to him. Yeah, that's basically it. One last thing, there's also like there was a marketplace where you could talk to a lot of people and check out different kind of organizations and stuff. There was a VR stuff that you could try out. I tried out some of those, which were interesting but not really impressive. But one of my highlights has been the hypnagogic light experience from the Lucia N3 meditation lamp, where they have like a lot of flashy lights, and I had a really interesting experience. I'm gonna talk about it in another video, which I'm gonna publish soon. If you don't want to miss it, subscribe to the channel. That was amazing, highly visual experience, very interesting. I am excited to kind of work with that a little bit further. And yeah, I've been there at the conference with two of my friends, Aisha and Marco, amazing people, two of my favorite people on this planet, and it had like kind of benefits and some negative sides to it that we went there together, right? Because as I said, the main value is networking, and when you're there with your friends, I was spending more time with them, and we were having exchanges about our experiences, and we still did connect with other people. But I think if you go alone to those kinds of conferences and places, there's the value of you have to get out of your comfort zone. You have to just go and talk to people, and you meet a lot of interesting people. And I also met some really interesting people. All the love to all of those people. Very interesting. It's like, yeah, you can go out and talk to some of the pioneering psychedelic researchers, and then the next person you talk to went through psychosis for the last 2 years and shares their experiences of their path and their healing, or just like underground shamans. And there's a lot of interesting people hang out in those kinds of places. I can highly recommend you go check it out if you're interested in psychedelics. It's a great way to meet people, especially if you're alone, maybe in your practice, on your path. It's a great way to gain perspective and to just reflect upon your own point of view on different topics, and get out there, get into the field, make yourself known, talk to people, and get into this exchange. And then there was after party. I don't like technological electronic music that much, but it was nice dancing a little bit, and just seeing all those kind of people having fun together. It's just beautiful. And I would say, as a conclusion, I want to come to an end from this video. As you maybe could see, I really enjoyed this experience. It really filled me up with a lot of gratitude, with a lot of inspiration to continue my work, to further go down my path. So thank you to everybody who organized this, who came to the conference, who made it happen. And I think this is great. This is the thing that we have to do. We have this shared passion, and we all do our own experiments and practices, and this coming together, this really coming together and creating something. There was one guy, he was having the metaphor of this mycelium network. It's all around the world, and we are that kind of network. But when we come together, we sprout, just as the mushrooms are sprouting, and we come into fruition, and we might make this thing more visible, right? This movement more visible, that it is actually happening, and we are moving forward into a very interesting direction. It has and just having this discussion about the movement, how to move forward, where we should maybe step back a little bit from the things that are happening right now. It's beautiful, this coming together, experiencing this together, creating something together, and putting it out into the world, and then going back. Everybody's kind of going back into their places from all around the world, and integrating the lessons and the perspectives and the inspiration into our being, and then spreading it out into our environment and our connections and our field of work, where maybe people are not that deeply understandable about these medicines, these substances. So that's it. That was my report about Breaking Convention 2023. Amazing experience. I loved it very much. I'm gonna be back there for sure. Maybe gonna check out some other conferences as well. But as I said, this was really, it felt like really this community, this tribe was coming together, and that's definitely kind of my preference. And people with joints and with guitars and flutes, playing music and just having fun. Beautiful, just absolutely beautiful to see. I hope you enjoyed this report. As I said, subscribe to the channel if you're interested in my path, in those experiences, learning how to work with these medicines to live a more authentic and fulfilling life. You can check out my website, psychedelic-actualization.com. And other than that, I would say I love you all, and I'll see you all in the next one. Thank you.